It's Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. And you won't be hearing any of that here.
At night I toss, turn, howl at the moon. Pills don't work and whiskey won't do. I shoot up out of that bed in a cold, cold sweat. There's just one thing this old dog can do. Jump that fence, break the chain loose. I got the scent and I'm running fast as I can. You're the silver bullet, one thing I need, girl, just like that. You set me free. From alone, free from my cage. You're my release, my getaway. You got the key. From the dead and night, you reach deep inside. Girl, you bring the animal out of me. Yeah. You know how to calm my restlessness. Your loving eyes, your sweet caress. You got the goods to tame this wild beast. Want me to sit, stay, roll over, play dead. Any command, girl, you're in my head. Your treats cure my lonesome heart disease. Scratch my itch, bring me to my knees. Girl, I'm begging you. You set me free. From my cage, you're my release, my getaway. You got the key. From the dead and night, you reach deep inside. Girl, you bring the animal out of me. Jump into these clean sheets, feeling like a man. You give me that wink and nuzzle my chin. My leg gets to twitching and I'm right back up again. Set me free. Free from alone, free from my cage. You're my release, my getaway. You got the key. From the dead and night, you reach deep inside. Girl, you bring the animal out of me. Yeah. Free.
Off the Beaten Path Podcast, me, Ben Merritt. There's Kenny Foster and his tune, Animal. Yes, I'm a big fan of that one. As a matter of fact, Kenny Foster is probably one of my new favorite singer-songwriters, which, by the way, apparently he does always. He's always writing songs, dependent on the mood and things like that. Well, actually, he's from Joplin, Missouri, and you may remember back in 2011, there was that very devastating tornado that swathed through that entire area, knocking out thousands of homes and businesses and buildings and devastating families and lives. Well, Kenny is from Joplin. As a matter of fact, his childhood home was lost to that tornado. And the very first thing he did before he packed up a bunch of supplies and went back home to help out was he wrote a song. And the great thing is, he put that up on iTunes, or a friend of his forced him to put it up on iTunes. And now every penny that is raised through the sale of that song goes back to the United Way. So there you go. Very cool stuff. Check out Kenny Foster on iTunes and pick up that tune. So, all right. Ben Merritt, again, thank you for hanging out here on Off the Beaten Path Podcast. This is a very cool episode for me because this episode, I get to chat with Kevin Galloway from the band Uncle Lucius. And Uncle Lucius, I don't think I've said this yet on the podcast, but Uncle Lucius is the first band that I heard where I go, wow, I don't know these guys, and that's my fault. And they kind of inspired me to do the podcast. And I tell Kevin that, so he gets to be swooned. Or he swoons. I don't know. But again, stick around. Uncle Lucius's very own Kevin Galloway, lead singer and songwriter, although all the guys in the band do vocals and write songs too. So it's a very collaborative thing. We'll find out in just a little bit when we talk to Kevin. Jill Brooks is who I've got lined up next. Again, Jill is a beautiful young woman. She comes from parts unknown. The Southeast, it just says on her bio. I would have to gather Florida or Georgia or somewhere in the Southeast. It's very cagey, the fact that it doesn't say. So, but Jill has been singing since she was a child. And according to her bio, she's been singing as loud as possible as well. Fairs, festivals. Finally, she got the ability to join her own band at age 16. And then she just kind of exploded from there. She's been on the road touring basically since 2011. She just finished up her second album, Shame on Me, where she wrote, produced, and performed every one of the songs. So she is kind of a renaissance woman in the world of country music, and that's great. That's a good thing to be. So here we go. This is Jill Brooks. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast. This is Austin on 6th Street off the Shame on Me album here on Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Oh, if I had a dream of a place I need to be, it would be in Tennessee. Oh, but that's not the case, 'cause I dreamt of a place. It was Austin on 6th Street. It was big skies and bright lights. We were playing shows every night. Can't wait to sleep tonight and dream of Austin on 6th Street.
It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Like us on Facebook.com/OTBP podcast.
Thinking about all I've done, the cities I have been, looking at my photograph, how can that be me? And now I'm stuck here working, I'm working so it seems that machine. Thinking about my old bed and the views that it had. Wishing I could just be there instead of only in my head. And now it's getting cold here. It's so cold that it seems that all of that it just was a dream. I need a time. I need a time machine. I need a time. I need a time machine. Time machine. I need a time. I need a time machine.
Off the Beaten Path podcast, Meet Ben Merritt. There you go. That's former special guest on the old podcast. He was live in studio with me last season. That was Grayson with his new tune called Time Machine. Check that one out. It is on the album Little Doors. He's a big ranga from Australia. Actually going to chat with an Aussie in a couple of weeks, I believe. A couple of weeks I'll be chatting with another Aussie, and I'll have to ask him if he knows Grayson. I bet you he does. Country music in Australia, it's blowing up, and it's kind of a small community. So, but there you go, Grayson with his brand new one Time Machine. Ben Merritt hanging out with you again, trying to introduce you to some brand new stuff, some off the beaten path kind of country music out there. Be sure, if you've got a favorite band, spread the word, spread the love, get me some information, or at least tell me how to get my own information. At OTBP Podcast on Facebook, OTBP Podcast. And you can email me, otbppodcast@gmail.com. I set up an Instagram account. I still don't know what to do with it. I'm not very good at the Instagram thing. I know I got my 3 rules of Instagram. Maybe I'll take care of that this weekend. I'm looking forward to doing some pretty cool stuff over the weekend. So, but yeah, it's going to be a good one. So check it out. Everything is available as well at otbppodcast.com. All right, now it's time to introduce you to another band, a new one that hasn't been featured on the show yet, but I like to get these guys on the air. The Dirty River Boys. This is off the album Desert Wind. No, it's not. That's the name of the single. I'm silly. The name of the single is Desert Wind. The name of the album is Science of Flight. Came out a couple years ago, but these guys are still on a tear. Logging over 200,000 miles in their van and 1,800 bottles of Febreze later as well. Here they are. This is the Dirty River Boys. This is Desert Wind. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt.
Off my mind. Lately, I've been dreaming underneath these blue familiar skies. Lovely lady, where you are, I hear your voice. Your scar. Won't you take my hand? I need you always to help me stand in this desert wind. Desert wind, where dust clouds all that I can see in this desert wind. You can't ever feel free in this desert wind. I lost all that was once me in this desert wind. I lost all that was once me in this desert wind.
Off the Beaten Path Podcast
He's my husband. You just don't know it yet.
with me, Ben Merritt. Like us on Facebook.com/OTBP Podcast. Off the Beaten Path Podcast with me, Ben Merritt. And the beautiful thing about this project I've been working on for about a year and a half now, doing a little bit of fun, having some great times, meeting some brand new bands. And I've never actually expressed this on the show before, and I've never said it to any of the other artists, and I hope that he's listening and he hears me. But strangely enough, the inspiration behind me doing the podcast was the very first time I ever saw an Uncle Lucius Pocket Full of Misery video on CMT, and I go, wow, there's a band that's on their way, and I've never heard of them before. That is a shame. So, Kevin Galloway from Uncle Lucius, sir, you are the inspiration of this podcast.
Excellent. That's a beautiful thing.
Did I flatter you to speechlessness there, apparently?
Yeah, almost. I thought you were going to say someone else.
No, absolutely not, sir. The very first time I saw Pocket Full of Misery on CMT Pure, where it's just the music videos, it was during one of their half hours of up-and-comers. I was like, wow, they do great stuff. How come I've never heard of them before? And then I was like, that is a shame. So I decided that I'm going to start promoting the newbies and the up-and-comers. And now we're a year and a half into it, and I'm finally getting to talk to you guys.
Oh, man, it's a beautiful thing. Full circle, huh?
Absolutely. So I got Kevin Galloway on the line from Uncle Lucius. And Kevin, before we get too far into the actual interview, I have a couple of icebreaker questions I have to ask you. Are you prepared, sir?
As prepared as I'm going to be.
Okay, good. That's the beautiful thing about them. So icebreaker question number one is, where are you right now? You can be as specific or non-specific as you would like to be.
I'm in South Austin, Texas, in our rehearsal room, sitting on the piano bench in front of the piano.
Well, there you go. So basically back home, getting some little bit of R&R, I'm sure.
Yes, we have 2 days off. Be back on the road.
Wow, 2 days back to back. That's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it's pretty fantastic.
Get laundry, get home cooked meal, do a little rehearsing. That's pretty good. So, Well, and icebreaker question number 2 should be probably pretty easy because I ask it because I have to gauge how comfortable you're going to be for the whole interview. If you were at like a suit and tie or a tuxedo event right now, this would completely change the whole interview. So question number 2 is, what are you wearing?
I'm wearing a brand new Lucero shirt. I went to you heard of the band Lucero?
I have heard of Lucero, yeah.
Yeah. I went to a free concert they put on last night at Stubbs here in Austin, Texas, and I bought a shirt. And it's very comfortable, and it's my first time to wear it today. So I'm wearing that in blue jeans, man.
Well, excellent. Small bands appreciating other small bands, doing free shows, and doing what you should do at a free show, by the way, which is buy the merch, because that's how the band will make back their money, right?
Exactly. Got to support.
If you ever go to a free concert with a small band or any size band, honestly, be sure to buy something, a T-shirt, a CD, a cozy, something like that. That's how that artist up on the stage is going to be able to keep doing the free concerts. That's great.
That's right. Did you call it a cozy?
A cozy?
Yeah.
What do you call it, sir?
We call it a koozie down here in Texas. It's funny. We have some friends from up there in Wisconsin, and I do recall them calling it a cozy, and we had a whole conversation about it. Just, small little differences.
Well, it's the speech patterns. It's, how the double O is. It's the koozie or the cozy, either way.
That's right. That's right. It all works.
And just in case nobody, I do have some international listeners as well. In case you don't know, it's the foam thing that goes around your ice cold can of beverage.
Correct.
All right. Well, Kevin, it's actually kind of perfect because when I first saw you guys was pretty much the very first time that you guys were getting major recognition with Pocketful of Misery on CMT. You've been doing your thing since 2009, though. Am I correct?
Even before that.
Oh, wow.
We've been doing this since 2006.
All right, then. So you guys have been out on the road just kind of troubadouring, playing for anybody who would listen, and then finally put together the first album and got out there and are starting to rock it.
That's right. We actually put our first album out in 2006. We just kind of produced it on our own. Printed 1,000. They're out of print. You can get it on iTunes, but the second album was in 2009, and we really started getting on the road a little more. In 2006, we just kind of stayed around Austin, in East Texas. But around 2009, we started to really branch out and tour the United States.
Well, and I've chatted with a bunch of the Texas country artists and the Texas musicians, and you guys make a pretty darn good living of, just touring that state that should be country-sized. I mean, you guys have got a lot of territory, even if you just stick to the Austin and East Texas side of the state.
That's right. You can travel for a couple of days and not leave Texas. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on down here.
Now,
you keep it close to home, too.
Absolutely, and that's always good to have a good home base. Austin's a very music-friendly city as well, too. I mean, South by Southwest, need I say more?
Exactly. Austin is the reason we all met. We all moved to Austin to play music and met from different places and met here because it's kind of the mecca.
Yeah.
Here, if you're a musician, you just kind of show up here and get to work.
Now, where did all you guys come from? There's 5 of you in the group, so you can't all have come from the same area. So
no, not at all. Goodness, the lineup now, 3 of us are from Texas, Houston area, San Antonio area, and I was living in the East Texas area when I moved to Austin. Mm-hmm. And then our bass player, he's the newest member. He actually moved to Austin, I guess, about 4 years ago from Tulsa, Oklahoma, which is also another great music mecca. Mm-hmm. And our keys player, we actually met while touring, I think in late 2009, early 2010. We were in Lexington, Kentucky, and he was playing with a band that we opened for there, and he wanted to kind of get out of town, and we convinced him to move to Austin and join the band.
That's so he left your band in the dead of the night. Is there any bad blood between the band you were opening for and...
Oh, no, not at all. They even condoned it. They said he needs to be out of town. He played with every band in Lexington, and it was kind of big fish in a small pond. And Austin was definitely the selling point for him to get out and come here, and it's been great.
Well, great. when talent sees talent, it's good to see that you guys are able to get together and, make even more talented projects together. So that's great. Awesome. All right. So, Kevin Galloway from Uncle Lucius here on the podcast. Again, Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. As you said earlier, your first album from 2006, out of print. You can find it on iTunes. But there's other great ways to find some of your music. As a matter of fact, I made contact with your management because I was so excited to see that you guys gave away a free live album.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not
going to tell you about that one.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
well, I was just going to say,
over here.
I was just going to say, I'm not going to lie. I immediately downloaded that without even hesitating. So,
well, man, thank you. And that's what we want, The cool thing about that is that's 18 songs we recorded in Yukon, Oklahoma, which is right outside of Oklahoma City, at a place called Grady 66, right there along Old Route 66. And we didn't know that someone was recording, or maybe one person in the band knew, no one else knew. So we weren't thinking about it. And man, it turned out fantastic. It just, whoever recorded it, I mean, he really caught the moment.
Great.
And, it's raw and real, and that's what we really pride ourselves in, is being a live band. You can make a studio album and put it out there and do it, but if you can't play as good or better as what you did on that album, then, I think you're going to flatline. I think we progressively get better because we play live so much.
Absolutely.
That's just a little snippet of it. It's on Noise Trade, actually, and it's free. You can download the 18 songs for free. There is a place to tip if you want, but, you can go for $0 and get 18 wonderful songs. I don't know how long that is. It's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, it's definitely, free. It's definitely worth the download. But my other point is I was on your website and you encourage recordings. It wasn't like somebody was, bootlegging it or, something like that. You encourage live recordings as long as people share it, though.
Yeah, why not? Kind of get that word out that there are still bands out there playing it live and doing a little different every night. It morphs a little bit every night to where it's just a little bit different each time because you're catching that moment.
Absolutely. That's kind of cool. Kevin Galloway from Uncle Lucius here on Off the Beaten Path podcast. And as I mentioned, the first time I heard from you guys was with Pocketful of Misery. But you guys really started to catch a lot of national credits and recognition with Keep the Wolves Away. Tell us a little bit about that song.
Sure, man. That's been the biggest one for us so far. And it's a true story. It's actually, I grew up in Freeport, Texas, south of Houston, surrounded by refineries and chemical plants, kind of that whole deal. And my father, blue collar, worked in those plants my whole life. And he was hurt in a chemical accident when I was 13 years old. And it changed things for us. He was the only breadwinner, and it really changed things. And it's kind of the blue collar story. It's a very specific, literal story, so it was easy to write in that sense. It's been very cathartic as well because, my dad's made it through, and he's still living, and it actually tells that story. We actually have a video for that as well. I think they put it on CMT for a little bit. My parents are actually in the last scene, so it's kind of full circle, kind of a deal. But it's been big for us because it's authentic, I think, and it really hits home with a lot of people, especially here in Texas. You got a lot of oil field workers and blue collar laborers, working hard out there with, always a chance that it could go wrong in an instant.
And in the video, I see there's a lot of imagery of the Big Bad Wolf and Little Red Riding Hood and things like that. And I think that's kind of a cool way to, symbolize all that put together. And then during your big whistle solo, which, by the way, I've seen on like Vine and YouTube, people are trying to whistle off with you, which is kind of funny. But during the big whistle solo, it seems like they put like one of those big industrial fans on you to symbolize the Big Bad Wolf trying to blow the door down. Am I right?
Yeah, you're exactly right. If you watch the video from beginning to end, the wind blows, a little harder towards, and then at the end it's really building up. And what's funny is they used fans in the scene, and then they also there's actually leaf blowers in our faces doing that. So we went through a lot of pains to catch it, but I think the director and the crew, production, everything, they did a wonderful job.
Well, you did a great job at keeping your eyes open, too. How about that?
Yeah, that was tough.
All right. Well, let's listen. Well, the video's got a little bit of fun to it, but it's definitely a poignant thing. Let's listen to the very important song right now. Here's Uncle Lucius, Keep the Wolves Away. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast. We'll come back a little bit here for a little bit more. All right, Kevin?
All right.
Took my first breath where the muddy rises, spills into the Gulf of Mexico. The skyline's colored by chemical plants that put bread on the table of the working man, where the working man does his best to provide safety and shelter for kids and a wife, giving a little of a soul every day, making overtime to keep the wolves away. I was barely 13 when the company man tried to dig my daddy's grave. It happened on a French-owned tanker ship, spilling poison into Galveston Bay, where the liquid fire filled his lungs and his eyes silenced any more cries. Cold in the grave, death stinging pain, he fought like hell to keep the wolves away. For the next few years, Dad was sick as a dog, but he made a recovery just to spite the odds. The settlement came and we moved out of town, where the sky isn't heavy with refinery clouds. Yeah, he's still alive, he's doing good, he's in his 50s, but the money's running out, and he's pinching for pennies. So I'm going for broke with every song I play, 'cause now it's my turn to keep the wolves away.
And there you go. That was Keep the Wolves Away, Uncle Lucius. I got Kevin Galloway on the line. Kevin, how are you, sir?
Wonderful, sir.
Now, have you been doing laundry? Because I know that you're doing some R&R. So did you have to like swap out a load or something like that while we were listening to that?
You know what? I did my one load of laundry yesterday. I pretty much live out of a suitcase.
Yeah.
So it's pretty easy. One load in, fold it back up, put it back in, good to go.
Nice. And just buy T-shirts from bands that you love along the way, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Lucero, little shout out again. Now, we're here with Uncle Lucius's Kevin Galloway. Kevin, we haven't even mentioned the name of the guys. We talked about where they're from, but you also got Mike Carpenter, Josh Greco, who, by the way, I am in love with his big old fro. Is he still got that one, or the pictures out?
Sure does.
Okay,
it's
good.
A beautiful thing.
And then you got John Grossman, and I'm going to screw up Val's last name, or Hal's last name.
You know what? That's not... he's no longer with the band, and yeah, that's okay. That's he was the original bass player.
Okay,
but this living on the road, it's a different life, and he wants to kind of stay home and do the production side of it all. He's an amazing songwriter. Wants to delve into being a producer as well. So
I'm
he's
sure
doing that.
So you guys are still friendly with Hal. It's not a bad thing. So.
Oh, indeed. Actually, one of his tunes is definitely going to be on the next album.
Excellent.
It's fantastic.
So who's the bass player that's replaced him now? So I got a right roster?
Bass player. Yeah, that's okay. Our new bass player, he's from Tulsa, Oklahoma. His name is Nigel Fry.
Nice. Apparently you guys like goofy named bass players, is what you're saying.
Yes, indeed.
It's another shtick. You got Josh's big old fro and goofy named bass players. So,
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, don't tell Nigel I didn't know about him. So you might.
Oh, no worries, man.
Okay, good. All right.
And of course, we got John Grossman on keys. He's the gentleman from Kentucky.
All right then. Well, perfect. All right. So now that we got an updated roster, it's almost like they don't have to, but I want them to. It's the Pimp Yourself portion. Kevin, tell us a little bit about how fans can become super fans and how newbies that are first now hearing about you can become fans of Uncle Lucius.
All right, check it out. We are all over the interwebs. If you just search Uncle Lucius, you have to spell it right. It's Lucius.
Yep.
It'll all come up. We have UncleLuciusMusic.com. That's our website, the official website. We've got a Facebook. We've also got a special, I'm not so familiar with Facebook, but there's, you can start little special pages. We have one called the Nieces and Nephews. It was started by super fans, and that's kind of where they kind of keep tabs on us and kind of get a little more information about the band. So it's the Nieces and Nephew page.
Cool.
On Facebook. Of course, you can get that free download on NoiseTrade/Uncle Lucius. Man, what else is there? We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, pretty much wherever you can think. I think we've got it covered. We're just trying to get up there in the digital world as much as possible.
Now, I know that I had a friend of mine that I've introduced to Uncle Lucius, and he wanted me to ask you specifically, and that's kind of what I do here, is I ask the questions that fans want to know sometimes. He wanted to know where the name Uncle Lucius came from.
Okay. I could give you the story that we tell everyone who asks us that, or I can give you the real story.
Oh.
Which would you prefer?
Well, give me the real dirt, man. I don't want to know just the candy-covered, sugar-coated, PR story. I want to know what actually happened.
Yeah, we'll tell you what actually happened. We were having dinner with some friends of ours. The whole band was. And these are friends of ours that live here in Austin now, but they are from South Indiana. And so this is an amazing meal. We're all done, and we're just kind of hanging out, and they start telling us stories about their grandpa, Lucius. And Lucius was a very eccentric gentleman. He lived south of New Orleans, and just the way that all these stories remind us of like a Mark Twain type character.
Okay, a little bigger than life kind of thing.
Exactly, bigger than life, and didn't care what everybody else thought, and spoke his mind, and just really loved that name Lucius, and it felt Southern. It felt like us, It kind of, that's what we were really doing at the time, and we still do. But the uncle got thrown in later on. I don't know how, but it it kind of feels like it's all in the family, and
Yeah.
became Uncle Lucius, and it just kind of rolled off the tongue, and we've been out there defining it ever since,
That's awesome. Actually, that's a great story. If, the stories that, kickstarted your creative process come from anything like that, that's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, man.
Now, tell me the sugar-coated, candy-covered version that you tell everybody via PR.
You're going to get a surprise. It's not sugar-coated or candy-coated at all. It's quite interesting, but what we're trying to do is create a myth and let it go out there. So there are people out there that believe this to be the truth, and truth is totally relative. So, this could get out there and become an urban legend, and, enough people believe it's the truth, and it becomes the truth. So this is what I usually tell people.
Okay.
Without missing a beat. We're on the road, and it was the Kevin Galloway Band, and we wanted to be a band name because it's 5 members. It's not just me. And we were on the road somewhere in East Texas and played a show, got up the next morning from the hotel, got in the van. And I don't remember who it was in the van, but they said, I had a dream last night. And I was in a swamp. And all I remember is there's this like a swamp wizard. He just comes out of the swamp, and he's holding this ball of light. And he wants to give it to me. He wants to impart it to me. And all I could get was his name was Lucius. And that's all I could get from the dream. And then I was like, man, I had that same dream. And everyone in the van had the same dream. So we got the name Uncle Lucius from a simultaneous dream, kind of like this one.
Wow. That's awesome. I think both of those stories are great. You go ahead and tell either one of them, I think.
Exactly.
All right. Well, there you go. Now you've got the truth and the truth behind Uncle Lucius's name. Right. Well, Kevin Galloway, sir, I appreciate you taking some time. But before we go, we have to talk about, you've got a pending project in the works. We got a new album. You and I were just talking during the song, and you need a little bit of help with it, or you would like a little bit of help with it. Am I right?
That's correct. It's kind of the way that things are going. Major labels are kind of dying, and we're out there building a fan base, and we want to have people be a part of the experience. So we're going to do the crowdfunding type thing, and we're going to kind of sell the experience. We're going to have some really cool perks, some things you can't get anywhere, like we'll do a show at your house, or little things. We haven't come up with all of them, but we're going to do some really cool things like that, and maybe make people part of the process, kind of open it up to let them know. I mean, you go in and record an album, and you got to mix and master. Then you have to do artwork. You have to produce CDs and vinyls, and you have to hire a PR company, kind of push you out there, and it's kind of a whole deal. And we want to kind of open that up to people and let them really know what it takes from beginning to end to make an album. So we've already picked the studio and the producer, and it's here in Austin. We're going to record in the first week of September, actually the first 10 days. And then we're going to take that whole process all the way through, and fans kind of in on the process, and probably release in February or March of 2015.
So basically, if you want to be part of the process, if you were ever like, man, I really love that band, I wish I could do something, this is it. This is your chance to help out Uncle Lucius get the next album out there so that you guys got more great music in your hands.
That's it. Yes, sir.
There you go. So we'll keep an eye on those social medias that we talked about, because I'm sure you'll be putting the links up for whatever Kickstarter or crowdfunding website it is that you guys use. And as soon as you see that, be sure to donate as much as you can to help the music along.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. All right. Well, Kevin, sir, I appreciate you taking some time, but before you go, we got to hear one more tune from Uncle Lucius. Everybody Got Soul. Now, this one's off the first album from '06, but we're re-releasing it so that the new fans can check out where the band came from, basically.
Yeah, pretty close. This is actually from the 2009 album.
Oh, okay.
In 2009, we released our second album, and both those first albums we released on our own, and we never pushed to radio. It's kind of a whole deal. You have to have a push behind that. And so there are some gems back there that we haven't ever released to radio, and we kind of want people to see what we've been doing for a few years. And there's also a message in this song that we feel like everybody needs to know as well.
Well, excellent.
Everybody Got Soul.
Read the title, and you'll understand the message.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Kevin, I appreciate you taking some time out, sir. And now it's time to listen to that one. Again, it's a little bit retro, but it still has its own soul. Kevin Galloway, sir, thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Ben.
All right, here we go. Everybody Got Soul from Uncle Lucius. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast. Meet Ben Merritt.
Believe it or not, I ain't much different than you. I've got a head on my shoulders and feet in my shoes. But walking down the same old road, and the air that you breathe is the fuel that you need to keep the whole thing running. Hey, that's just like me. I share triumphs and woes, and our shape and our color and our size ain't the same, but the substance in the middle's only got one name. Hey, I got soul. You got soul. We all got soul. Everybody got soul. Seen ups, I've seen downs, I've seen the spaces between, and felt the sorrow of loss and the joy of reprieve. I hope you empathize, heard about the way things are and how they ought to be, and know the only one controlling my future is me. My favorite truth over lies, so truth be it's all, we all come from a place, no matter what your sign, your creed or your race. Hey, I got soul. You got soul. We all got soul. Everybody got soul. Everybody got soul. Everybody got soul. Everybody got soul. Yeah, we all got soul. I said they all got soul. Everybody got soul. I said they all got soul. You know we all got soul. Everybody got soul.
Off the Beaten Path podcast
Fresh new country.
at OTBP Podcast.
Well, looky here,
wonder what the cat drug in. I heard you might have lost your new girlfriend. Then knock, 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 guess who's at my door? Now you're talking like you've lost your mind, standing here handing me the same old lines. How you wanna go back to what we had before? Say there's nothing that you won't do to prove your love. Well, why don't you try begging, try pleading, try getting down on your knees and bawling and a squalling and a crawling back. It's gonna take a whole lot more than love. You're lying, you're crying. What you selling, boy, I ain't buying. You think a few little tears and a baby I was wrong is gonna win back my love. Well, you're sorry, but sorry ain't enough. Are those flowers really meant for me? You brought a teddy bear, I guess you think that's sweet. Tell me, boy, how dumb do you think I am? Does this look like a swinging door? Your little key don't fit no more. I think it's time you find a better plan. Start by telling me how much it hurts to not have me, and when that don't work, try begging, try pleading, try getting down on your knees and bawling and a squalling and a crawling back. It's gonna take a whole lot more than love. You're lying, you're crying. What you selling, boy, I ain't buying. You think a few little tears and a baby I was wrong is gonna win back my love. You're sorry, but sorry ain't enough. You're sorry, well that's a fact. You're sorry, I ain't taking you back. You're sorry, I'm better than that, 'cause sorry ain't enough. Try begging, try pleading, try getting down on your knees and bawling and a squalling and a crawling back. It's gonna take a whole lot more than love. You're lying, you're crying. What you selling, boy, I ain't buying. You think a few little tears and a baby I was wrong is gonna win back my love. You're sorry, you're sorry, yeah, you're sorry, all right. Sorry ain't enough. Sorry ain't enough.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. Casey Lansdale, kind of a, again, Renaissance seems to be the theme of the afternoon, evening, morning, day, whenever it is that you may be listening to this. Because, well, Casey Lansdale, not only a great singer-songwriter, but she's also just a writer. You can find her novels all over the place. So, yeah, that's kind of awesome. I never would have expected that from a country singer, but seems to be. And also, she's an actress. She's slated to be in a movie for probably a Christmas release, because the name of the album is Christmas with the Dead, or the name of the movie. See? Name of the movie is Christmas with the Dead. She'll be making her big screen debut. So, there you go. Very cool stuff. Casey Lansdale and Sorry Ain't Enough. That's off the album Restless. The album, by the way, was produced by John Carter Cash. Yeah, that John Carter Cash. Kind of a big deal. Stick around. I'll tell you all about the brand new one that you're about to hear right now from Reckless Kelly in just a little bit. It's Off the Beaten Path podcast. Me, Ben Merritt.
Last goodbye really had me going, pulling my strings all the while, knowing you weren't leaving anytime soon. Last goodbye really had me running hot. You turned me into determined to make me your fool. This time around I won't come running. No matter how hard you try, this time around I won't come crawling back to you. This is the last goodbye. Tougher than the one before. Hard to believe you could hurt me anymore, but you did it. Here we go again. The last goodbye was nothing but a toy. You were crying wolf like the lonesome little boy in the story. But here's how it ends. This time around I won't come running. No matter how hard you try, this time around I won't come crawling back to you. This is the last goodbye. This is the last goodbye. Goodbye.
Off the Beaten Path podcast with me, Ben Merritt. There you go. That is Grammy-nominated Austin, Texas country southern rock band Reckless Kelly and their brand new tune, The Last Goodbye. It's off Long Night Moon. And again, this is the band's 8th album. It's their latest album since their 2011 Grammy-nominated album, Good Luck and True Love. So again, these guys have been kind of a big deal. I think I first heard about them in 2008 with the album Bulletproof. And then I was just kind of like, oh, well, these guys are so good that they're just going to kind of fade away, unfortunately. But no, it just takes them 2 years to do an album every time. If you go all the way back to their very first album that came out in 1998. Yeah. So, yeah, 98, 2000, 2003, 2005. So, yeah, it's 2 years pretty much. Nope, never mind. 2007 to 2008, 2010, 11, and 13. So, Basically, if you're a Reckless Kelly fan, you just have to be a patient fan. But patience pays off. It's always a good time when Reckless Kelly puts out a brand new album. So make sure you check that one out. That is Long Night Moon. The whole album kind of has a theme of love, life, and the road. So there you go. Very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. I love Reckless Kelly. Thank you to Kevin Galloway from Uncle Lucius, another Austin-based band, coming on the old podcast with me and kind of talking about the roots of the band and, heck, the roots of this podcast. So there you go. Appreciate it. Next week, Morgan Riley, very lovely young woman, going to stick around and hang out with me here on the podcast, kind of introduce you to her next week. It's Off the Beaten Path Podcast. Me, Ben Merritt. Have yourself a good one. Bye.